The Brave and the Bold is set to bring us a side of Batman that we've never seen before, and there's a new rumor going around about the creative changes in the DCU, and if the rumor's to be believed, it all sounds pretty promising. Let's find out more. It looks like for the first time, we're going to see the Dark Knight in his edgy anti-hero gray area zone, as well as his rocky relationship with the Boy Wonder. Yup, that's one heck of a promising start, and if DC doesn't deliver this time, we're going to be disappointed. Look, here's the thing. DCU has a lot to redeem itself for. The dark and gritty Batman persona that they went for just didn't work. Don't hate me for saying this, but Superman and Batman aren't very tonally consistent characters. Seems like the top dogs at Warner Bros. Didn't get this memo and kept trying to make something out of two strong characters. Plus, when did adding commercial value become an excuse to drift away from the comics? Even now, DC doesn't exactly have a clear-cut path for its universe like the MCU, but what we can count on is the massive success of Robert Pattinson's reboot of The Batman. What we can rely on is that some creative change at the top of the house can save the upcoming DC slate of Gods and Monsters chapter. A new rumor on the block says that the DCU has a new hire for the directing duties of the upcoming movie, someone who has seen the Dark Crusade far more closely and someone who is stuck by DC at its worst. But before anything, he's someone who has found his peace with playing Batman forever. Drumroll, please, because Ben Affleck is returning home with a lot more creative direction for his alma mater. His directing duties will give him access to give the Dark Knight an edge in the story that it has never seen before. The James Gunn-Ben Affleck duo is rumored to revive the Bat family arc of the comics in DCU. So I guess there is some hope for the Brave and the Bold. DCU gurus have their eyes set on the reboot, mainly because this time, DCU is promising something different, and a lot of fan theories and expectations are on the line. Let's unpack those, shall we? So far, the DC bosses have spent a lot of time making Batman their cash cow. Not really a bad call, right? But they have fallen into a habit of steering away from something critical. What makes Batman the gloomy, existentially driven, and king of vigilante justice superheroes that we all like? Well, this isn't exactly a difficult question. The character's turbulent history of redefining his superheroicness only works if he has strong villains, and this is exactly where the Brave and the Bold sets itself apart. Well, allegedly. Sure, you'll see Batman on the screen, that's pretty much given, but he isn't exactly in the spotlight this time. Yup, sounds almost unbelievable, right? But wait, if you're one of those DC comic geeks, hold tight, because this might be your tipping point to love the cinematic universe. As far as speculation goes, the upcoming superhero film will put Batman into a chaotic relationship with his son and the beloved Robin we all know, Damian Wayne. Now, that's one thing to count on. The father-son duo perhaps has one of the most interestingly framed parental relationships in DC, and the difference is super striking. If one seeks redemption for his people, one is haunted by a legacy that isn't easy to carry. This particular dynamic makes the Batman-Boy Wonder alliance different from the typical Dark Knight allies. That doesn't mean that the upcoming movie won't feature some classic Batman allies. A robust fan theory is that such a portrayal will be important because the filmmakers want to show you the uniqueness of the rocky father-son alliance. Sure, having tensions is a centerpiece of the Batman-Robin iconic duo, but here's the thing. Boy Wonder has a bit of a thing for going rogue and not exactly banking on his father's legacy. He wants to find his own sense of heroism, and he often gets it wrong. The Brave and the Bold would ideally put Batman into the shadows of what really is Damian's journey, and from the comics' point of view, that's something worth watching. Here's when the wild fan theory on Bat family origins in the new DC movies becomes legit. Okay, this might be a bit of a spoiler, but unless you plan on doing a roundup of all Batman comics, this wouldn't be a big deal. As the resident Batman nerd, I can confirm that Bruce doesn't exactly trust his son in the vigilante business. Bruce has always lived in his past. When he sees that his son is a reflection of himself, he's hell-bound on saving his son from eternal sadness and strives for salvation. Yet, that's not the only thing. Damian is ego-ridden like his dad, and that often results in stuff like getting a humiliating defeat in Lazarus League. Telling the world that you're to be feared isn't exactly a Batman thing. Definitely not if you're operating in a city like Gotham. And you wouldn't expect Robin to follow suit, right? Absolutely wrong. Here's when the Boy Wonder is an exact antithesis of his dad. The Batman-Robin dynamic becomes super paradoxical because Damian has his entire bit of "I don't need anyone to save me" phase. Now, that's something that we haven't seen in the DCU ever. Is the franchise open to exploring exploring this rocky, paradoxical Batman-Robin dynamic? Well, it's definitely on the table. As James Gunn is heading this highly anticipated project, his words seem hopeful. The DC producer has already hinted that the movie would promise a Bat family reunion in style. The Brave and the Bold would be for Damian's heroism as much as it is for Batman's. More or less, it isn't exactly a Batman movie. The new taker in this universe is Robin, the boy wonder who's struggling with his heroic destiny. Honestly, about damn time. The turbulence off-the-rails Robin has always put a chip on Bruce's shoulder. It just went highly underrated for the cinematic universe. Plus, the Robin stream in the comics has great potential of redefining Batman outside his playboy, sad genius, and philanthropic persona. So far, so good. Now, another million-dollar question to ask is a little sensitive, to say the least. Mainly because this area of filmmaking has been a hit or a miss for the DCU. At times, it doesn't even feel like Warner Bros. Knows this important skill of delivering some masterpieces. You know what we're talking about. Who's going to be in the cast of The Brave and the Bold? Especially after the controversial firing of Henry Cavill as Superman, James Gunn isn't looking very tactful about casting. And when the upcoming movie is doing something new in the world of Batman, the cast really needs to hit the spot. There are a lot of theories on the internet to make or break the movie, and one rumor has given us a ton of frenzy. So let's tackle them one by one. But first things first, we won't be seeing Ben Affleck in the role of Batman. Yup, those days are over.
And it was incredible. Zack Snyder's directing it. He's this incredible take on it. That's like, obviously.
Whether for better or worse, well, that's for you to decide. Affleck is still an important part of the DCU in a director capacity. The movie can gain some insight into how to get Batman right. Plus, the character has to find a new light and soul for this cinematic breakthrough. And it isn't gonna be easy. It's clear that the Dark Knight won't exactly be bubblegum in the movie. He's gonna look seasoned and burdened with the responsibility of his son and his past. The internet rumor mill will tell you that perhaps Keaton is the perfect choice to deliver such a performance. Hey, no disrespect to Michael Keaton's Batman, it's legendary in its own right, but the Brave and the Bold Batman should be in their early 50s. If we look at the chronological line of the comics, it's pretty clear that Keaton is too old to reprise his role. Unless there's a pipeline for a trilogy with this movie, Michael is out of the league for this one. And oh, it's too early to even speculate about a trilogy. That's just not how Warner Bros. Does things. Yup, talk about why MCU knows what it's doing. Gunn is quite cryptic about the casting so far. All we know is that there's a new Batman actor in the works. That pretty much rules out every fan casting theory on Robert Pattinson, Clooney, Keaton, and even Christian Bale. It's clear-cut that James Gunn wants a fresh start for DC's new slate. Starting with a comic-centric Gods and Monsters movie might earn DC its long-time coming redemption arc.